We're back for part 2, and we are now joined by Amin Elhassan from ESPN. You can find him on Sports Center. You can find him on Truehoop TV. You can just find him on Twitter. I feel like that's probably the best way to find you.
Probably. That's where everything else gets kind of spread out. You'll know about all my TV stuff and all my writings and all that if you follow me on Twitter.
Or you just tweet #HateHard with pretty much anything you want, and you'll get a response pretty much.
More lifestyle choice than anything else.
So let's start off with the Eastern Conference here. The bottom of the East has not really been that pretty this year, and we kind of saw the worst of that, or the best of that tonight. So what did you see tonight? How do you think the bottom of the East is going to play out here?
It's competitive, and it didn't just start tonight. Last night as well, the Heat just came back from losing to the Bucks. The Bucks are a team that for the longest have been kind of comfortable in that 6th seed, but they're starting to come back down to earth. So we're talking about maybe a 5-team race for those 2 spots, and it's going to be ugly and it's going to be gritty and grinding, but you know, that's better than what happened last year where everybody was kind of just moonwalking their way into the playoffs.
So is MCW the least valuable player in the league right now?
You know what? I would call him an investment in the future for Milwaukee. I'm maybe not an investment I would have made, but I get why they did it.
He's bringing the Philly system to Milwaukee right now. That's what he's doing. I mean, like, the thing is, Milwaukee coming down, that leaves even the 6th seed in play here. I feel like Miami, right now is a standing sit. Right. Miami's the only team in play for that right now, but things could change. How can Milwaukee really lose so much that could really get vacated?
Man, I talked to a couple of people around the league who think that Milwaukee might end up being the 8th seed when it's all said and done. Like, they're falling like that. So I don't know. I think that's a little drastic. I think that's a little extreme. I think they'll probably end up with the 6th seed just because they have that cushion. And you look at a team, Miami's the closest, as you said. They're dealing with injuries. Wade didn't play tonight. Whiteside didn't play tonight, you know. And Coach Spo said that even Haslam could have been a scratch tonight. He was almost a late scratch, and he basically overruled.
Really well.
And he played really well for him. Yep.
So Miami, I mean, for them to be able to fight against their top competitor for their spot right now without all those guys, are they the team that you probably will see having the 6th seed a few months from now?
I think Milwaukee will be 6, Miami will be 7, and 8 is a coin flip. Will it be Brooklyn? Will it be the Celtics? Will it be the Charlotte Hornets?
3-sided coin flip.
You know, will it be the Indiana Pacers, who had a big win tonight as well?
I mean, which one will it be?
I think Indiana's going to end up, but I'm not like Indiana's. That's it. It could be anybody.
If Paul George comes back, you might be able to slam your fist on the table a little harder.
Not even.
Really?
I think when you come down to it like this, there's such a small amount of time. So what we have is 71 games, so 11 games left. Yeah. Paul George isn't come out and going to be spectacular from day one. He's going to have an adjustment period, however long it takes him. That's not enough time.
He's got to have 11 games of rust.
Yeah,
right?
You know, well, however many games it is, it's just not enough time to say, oh yeah, he definitely puts them in that playoff conversation.
How many game winners does George Hill have to hit before they can really be a bona fide playoff team? I mean, the guy has been reigning it right now.
Or Chris Middleton, for that fact.
Oh, of course, yeah. And that was a little bit more spectacular. Yeah. Actually, you know, Chris Middleton's been kind of like the topic du jour around here lately because I know Jackie McMullen, ever since Sloan, has been pushing for him to be the Celtics' pretty much cornerstone. I mean, Middleton, he's a good player. Intense. Real plus minus, Kevin Pelton sat there. Makes him look like one of the top guys in the league. I mean, we've been talking about him being potentially a max guy this summer. Is that something that could happen with like Boston?
Well, it is, but not because he's a cornerstone player. Yeah. Real plus minus, even though it controls for home and away, who's playing with me on the court, all those things. At the end of the day, it's still a contextual stat because it's measuring what your impact was in the role I asked you to play. So, really extreme example to illustrate. If I take Phil Pressey, who had a good night tonight, and I say I'm starting him for 82 games at center.
So sorry to hear that.
His real plus minus will probably look awful. Yeah. Is that because he's an awful player, or is it because he was awful at the role that you asked him to do? It's probably the latter. Chris Middleton is, what real plus minus is telling you is that he's great at that role you're asking him to do. What is that role? Defend, knock down threes. Create offense? No. Be a defensive anchor? Be like Andrew Bogut? No. Defend on the perimeter, shoot threes. That's a necessary thing. It's a valuable thing. All those things are correct. Cornerstone, something different. Now, when you talk about how much he's going to get paid, that's a different story because of the rising cap. Teams are looking at numbers like $15 million a year. Like, that's a steal. I mean, I wouldn't pay Chris Middleton $15 million a year, but I valued him at $8 a year, and I'm already saying that's too low because of the way the cap is going.
So you value him at 8, even the way that he's been playing over the past couple months?
If the cap were not going up, if we were looking at a $66 million cap, 68, and this gradual increase, $8 million a year for his next contract was probably what he's worth.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that's lower than I come in around 10 to 11, not factoring for inflation.
See, that inflation is going to make it get to 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's going to keep climbing.
But
bidding wars are going to get even exponentially
If you
bigger.
sign a guy if you sign a guy like that, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed, because the money sends a message to your fan base, to your owner. Well, this guy's really, really good. And then you get him like, I thought you said this guy was good. Well, he is good if he's the Batman or the Robin to someone, and not even Robin.
He's good at being Bruce Bowen or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Being that guy. But if you put him in a situation where he has to be a cornerstone, like Jackie McMullen said, you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
And to be totally fair, I'm exaggerating what she's saying, just that she's been bringing him up a lot lately.
Exaggeration is a good thing. You got to embrace it. You got to embrace it.
Absolutely. We're all about hyperbole here. Phil Pressey will make a great center. I mean, 5'8" is never too short to be a center. So, okay, so other side, we were talking, I know you today, I've been paying attention to what you've been doing today because I've been bored today, and you've been talking a lot about Steph Curry versus Russell Westbrook. So I just want to give you the floor there to talk about which player do you think is more valuable, who's the more outstanding player. I mean, it's a fascinating topic. It's the most important topic in the league right now.
First of all, it's silly because they're both incredible players. Sure. And any team would die to have either one of them. And but I've always been a guy, I lean towards skill and feel and IQ and those things. And I'm biased because my basketball education was spent watching Steve Nash play. So in my mind, that's what a star is. That's how you overcome. And even the players that I like around the league are all guys like that, the Marc Gasols, the Boris Diaws, guys who or even Duncan and guys like that. They're all kind of cerebral players. I value and admire the cerebral game. To me, Steph Curry is at the top of that list, or in that conversation, and that's why I take him over Westbrook.
So, okay, you got to get out of here. So, last thing, you wrote a great piece on Steve Nash, reflecting on your time with Steve Nash. Steve Nash was my first interview in the NBA too.
Oh, wow.
He was unbelievable. He sat there on the training bench with a Bud Light in his hand for 15 minutes, and we just broke down pick and roll attacking.
That's Steve Nash.
That's probably still the coolest thing that's happened to me in the NBA, besides sitting next to Julian all these times. But tell us something. What's the most important thing to you about Steve Nash's story that you've had with Steve Nash? Something that's really special, that's unique to you and Steve.
Oh man, so
that you're allowed to tell on camera.
As far as special and unique to me, here's one I haven't said. I'm giving you guys an exclusive here. 2007, Perfect. I'm an intern. 06, 07, I'm an intern, and I'm in the locker room, but like literally don't talk to anybody. Keep my head down. I'm an intern. I don't want to make waves, and so I'm pretty sure that like guys have seen me, but I don't know who, like there's only a couple players who actually know who I am. Roger Bell knew who I was. Leandro Barbosa knew who I was. Most of the other guys, I think I was just another face. I'm sure here, you walk in that locker room, and the guys look and say, yeah, I've seen the guy with the beard before, but like they don't.
None of them know my name.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody knows us.
So I went to All-Star Weekend in Vegas, and GQ threw a party for Steve in honor of his second MVP, which was the prior season. And it was a small private event, and no one else, there was no, I can't even say there was a list. It was literally either you're in or you're out, and in a very small venue. And I got in because obviously son's employee and all that stuff. And I walk in and I'm just here for a couple of free drinks and see what I can see. And Steve comes up to me and says, Amin, you made it. And I've never told that story, but it tripped me out. Like, he knows who I am. Like, how does he know who I am? Like, enough to recognize me out of place, because it's another thing. They recognize you in here. You go anywhere else where they're not used to seeing you, and it's like,
I have to wear my name tag for
exactly.
them, yeah.
So that was, to me, that was really cool and indicative of the kind of person he was. But to be honest, the thing when people ask me, what should we, like, he's just a great competitor and a great teammate. And I think, can't say that enough. And there's not a lot of guys you can say were great competitors. Not a lot of guys you can say were a great teammate. And I think that's really special about him.
Or even a great person.
Well, a great person too, yeah. But there are a lot of great people in the league. Sure. But great teammates, particularly at the superstar level, sometimes people just put up with what you are because you're so good. And Steve never had that. He never had that. People wanted to be around him on and off the court.
I gotta say, not quite the same story, but I had that conversation with him. The next year he was in town, I ran into him, said hi. He remembered who I was too. I have no idea how on earth he could possibly remember me.
It was the name tag.
It must have been it, right? So that's it for Julian, for myself. I want to thank Amin for coming on the show, man.
No problem.
That was a lot of fun.
No problem.
We'll do it again sometime soon.
Definitely.
So that's it for the Garden Report. We will see you after Sunday's game. Peace out.
Next time we gotta get Julian some questions.
Oh, that's right.